I'm going to talk about the lecture The Twofold Roles of Pre-Service Teachers, Their Perceptions toward Bilingualism in Their Future Practice. Investigation Context. In Colombia, the term bilingualism plays an important role on educational policies with the aim of pushing students to become bilingual. There is a new policy named Colombia Bilingual in 10 years for public schools to show the aspect to take into account to become a bilingual country. The investigation starts with this question: what do pre-service teachers' perception of bilingualism reveal about their roles as future language teachers in two different universities? The aim of this investigation is to look at the pre-service teachers' perception about their future practice, and it leads to two specific objectives. First one, to allow pre-service teachers to show how they picture themselves in the future towards the bilingualism, and to establish the mechanisms to better teaching English as a foreign language in their context. Now let's talk about the meaning of bilingualism. I found very interesting what Bloomfield said in 1933 is the capacity of having the control of two languages as a native speaker. It means to manage the language and the language cultures in any environments. Types of bilingual education. There are two types: additive bilingualism and subtractive. The first one means that school speak their mother tongue and the second language is learned by the students. And the second one is that both languages are taught at the same time. What do the teachers teach the way they do? They base their way of teaching according to the way they were taught and their beliefs and perceptions. There is an author named Burden that nevertheless this could be affected by teachers' knowledge and training. All this means that pre-service teachers are constructing their perception since they became in touch with the second language. The methodology of the investigation is a qualitative study that took place here in Colombia, and they took 11 students from 9th semester from two different universities. They took their voices as the evidence to analyze, and they analyzed the common theme they mentioned in their voices, in the records. The findings: they found a main category being a bilingual teacher, and it leads to twofold roles: bilingual master and bicultural reader. Bilingual master is to know about the two languages, the first and the second, and is a never-ending process because you learn about the languages every day, grammar or syntax or whatever. Bicultural readers is the capacity to interpret, understand, and respect the student's culture and establish a connection between the both cultures. It leads to three aspects: connection between formal and contextual aspects of the first language and the second language, the interdependence of both to keep a balance, and the third one is to enrich people bilingual capacities. Yes, and now the conclusion that the lecture gave about the investigation is that, in one hand, students express that being bicultural readers and bilingual master are the main ingredients to the recipe of becoming tolerant, empathetic, and respectful to others. On the other hand, they do not consider themselves as a competent bilingual, and it leads to two things: being aware of the quality of the teachers here in Colombia, and that the standards do not respond to the needs as students. Here I made a mind map about teaching a second language to teenagers according to the lecture and what it takes to be a good teacher to teach the second language. First one is large classes. When these classes take like 2 or 3 hours, so you have time to pay individual attention to each student. Different rhythm to learn. Each student has their own rhythm to learn, and it's completely normal, and we have to respect that. Different culture. You have to show the students the difference between the culture of each language. Establish boundaries to have a good class and not having issues. You better establish some rules and norms inside the classroom. Appropriate class pace. It is easy for them to get bored easily, so you have to manage the time for each activity. To be bilingual master, as the lecture